in future. They won't kill him, they won't jail him, but they will lie to you. They did something against him.
Is this the end of Eliud Lagat? If there is one man in Kenya today who is praying that time and silence will wash away public outrage, it is not the president. It is Eliud Lagat, the soft-spoken, sharply dressed Deputy Inspector General of Police, who also happens to be a trained bomb expert. But no amount of diffusing skills seems to be helping him navigate the ticking time bomb of public rage currently strapped to his name. Once an untouchable figure in the upper ranks of Kenya's law enforcement, Lagat has found himself at the epicenter of a firestorm ignited by the tragic death of Homa Bay teacher Albert Ojwang, a man whose name is now immortalized in hashtags and protest chants. The accusations are heavy, the timing worse, and the public sentiment is unforgiving. Lagat has since stepped aside, pending investigations. But for many Kenyans, stepping aside is simply not enough. They want him behind bars, and they are not whispering. They are shouting it into timelines, threads, and legal petitions. A coalition of human rights activists led by lawyer Lempa Suyinka and Professor Frederick Ogola has now petitioned the High Court to pause the current trial against 3 officers and 3 civilians implicated in Ojwang's murder. Why? Because they believe the big fish, Eliud Lagat, is being deliberately left out of the frying pan.
My lady, we have agreed for tomorrow, but we have told JV, out of abundance of caution, take them to miscellaneous courts and close those files.
The petition names not only Lagat, but a who's and who of Kenya's justice system, the DPP, IPOA, the National Police Service, and even President William Ruto. Now, the argument is straightforward. This is selective prosecution and it stings.
Right. Then the team of defense.
Morning, my lady.
Good afternoon, Council.
The High Court has taken notice. Justice Chacha Mwita has directed that Lagat and the rest of the named respondents be served court papers and ordered to respond by July 18th this year. And the countdown has begun. But the public's anger isn't fueled by Ojwang's death alone. The smell of smoke, they say, has been in the air for a while. Before his current freefall, Eliud Lagat had already been mentioned in the dark corridors of state-sponsored intimidations. Former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, now somewhat of a political outcast himself, had once accused Lagat of running a shadow squad of about 100 officers, conveniently from his own ethnic community, tasked with abducting, torturing, and in some chilling cases, eliminating government critics.
You remember last weekend I said that a special squad had been set aside and now we have confirmation that President William Ruto, CS for Interior Kipchumba Murkomen, and the Deputy Inspector General, Mr. Eliud Lagat, all from the Kalenjin community, have put up a squad to deal with leaders who are opposed to this regime. The Honorable Kipchumba Murkomen has sent a message to us through common friends that his appointment to the Ministry of Interior is to make sure that William Ruto is re-elected as president and to deal with anybody who can stop that objective. Officers from the National Police Service has confirmed to us that a special squad of 20 police officers from the Nandi sub-ethnic community are the ones behind the abduction of George Koibori, and they are the ones that were deployed in Kakamega to target the Honorable John Methu and Karungo Athangwa. Specifically, there were about 300 police officers who were deployed in Kakamega, but 20 police officers from the Nandi sub-ethnic community under the direct command of the Deputy Inspector General, Eliud Lagat, and reporting to Kipchumba Murkomen and William Ruto.
At the time, it sounded like a bitter political theater. Now, in light of Ojwang's death, it feels disturbingly plausible. And so when Ojwang, a school teacher with a phone and an opinion, was arrested, allegedly on Lagat's direct orders, and later ended up dead in police custody, the pieces snapped together in the public's mind like a puzzle. Stepping aside was supposed to cool the heat, but it didn't. Kenyans don't want a break from Lagat. They want a trial. So, will Eliud Lagat survive this growing storm?
What will happen to him?
What will happen to these people? They know how to protect each other. The people from that line. Not much will be there because he never killed himself. The goons killed. So he will step aside, and then he will go to the cold for some few days, and then he will be given another responsibility somewhere. Remember, this man was brought by Ruto himself to safeguard the interests of the Ruto government in terms of security. So he has a bigger role to play in future. They won't kill him, they won't jail him, but they will lie to you. They did something against him.
So justice won't be served.
There will be no justice. You are making noise. Once a person is buried, that's the end of the agitation. The government now is disturbed by this guy because the man has not been buried. The day he will be buried, that moment, it will be the end of the whole story. So it will be a total lie to tell Kenyans that DIG is going anywhere. He's not going. He will just change position, swap like Masengeri, like Gabo. Gabo is the one who killed many people here in Nairobi. But he was swapped and taken to another position. The same thing, because no court will prove this guy. The one who can link DIG to this old saga is Talam. And Talam is one of them.
And they've been hiding each other's skeletons for a while, right?
Yes. And the Central Police Station and the Kamkunji Police Station belonged to them, both of them. That is where they have been keeping their people, their suspects. And this is something has been happening. So Talam will be taken to court and protected and released on a bail. And it will be the end of the story. Talam will not link the IG because Mukwana has linked Talam. Talam is the one to link the IG, not unless Safaricom produces some evidences.
Well, that's bad news for
because
protesters.
What people doesn't know is that there must be a proof beyond reasonable doubt.
That would link these guys to the murder.
There must be a chain. Murder is not just stealing chicken. It is a must of, there must proof beyond that indeed there are no weapons. There are no weapons. What is trying to link them is what?
The CCTV.
But what can link now completely well is a phone call from DIG to Talam and the communications. And that is the work of Safaricom.
And okay, well, I don't want
also to... maybe, if they use the satellites to link the phone, the cell phones for DIG and Talam and maybe some other people, and how they were communicating. And which this is a police officer, he cannot use his cell phone to communicate.
Sina mengi ya kusema.
Bye.